Hello, people. I am going to tell you a story that I was just reading up on it recently, and I found it quite an interesting story. It's about a guy named Christopher Cognata on the streets in Howard Beach. He was known as Crazy Chris because he was crazy and he was fearless, and he was the biggest thorn in the side to the Bonanno family. And the Bonannos underestimated him. And every time they went at him, he came back at them. But here's the difference: he was a one man army, he had nobody else. Chris Cognata did it by himself. Cognata did it by himself. I mean, he just had that temperament, and the Bonanno family feared him because of the things that he did. So let's talk about him a little bit, okay? And just to give you an idea who Chris was. I'll give you a pitch, show you a picture of him first. Well, unfortunately, this is his funeral card, and this is a whole nother story, and I will explain it to you. Uh, but this is also Chris, and he's kind of a legend on the street for being a crazy guy. Don't get me wrong, he terrorized a lot of people. It's not like he was some innocent guy here, but we're going to talk about him anyway because of what he did with Ronny G and that family and the people that went after him. Okay, let me get this off. Okay, so this all started with his aunt Donna Cavalcanti was her name. She was shot on a bar stool by Jerry Asaro and Ronny G. They were ordered to shoot her after she smashed a beer bottle on Vinny Asaro's daughter's face. So that's when this whole thing really started, and it put a resentment there. Chris Cognata had a resentment toward them because of what happened, but it still wasn't enough to push them over the edge with them. Things happened to make this happen, and so it's Chris Cognata despised Ronny G and showed him disrespect. Even told Gene Barillo and Bobby Giallanzo that the Bonannos needed them and not the other way around. And Bobby G just ignored them because Bobby G was of the bloodline of the Soros. And they had plans for him. But, him and Gene were good friends. And in the beginning, they hung out with Chris. They were kind of like they terrorized the streets, the three of them. But then what happened, you had, let me just get here. Bobby Giallanzo was the nephew. Oh, just so you know, he was the nephew and great nephew to Ronny G and Vinny Asaro. In 2002, Bobby G would introduce Gene Barillo to Ronny G. And in 2004, after they robbed the social club, Ronny G decided to give them or make them an offer that they could not refuse. Come work for me or face the consequences for robbing the social club. They decided that they only had one choice, and after that, they worked for Ronny G. And what happened? A bond developed between Gene Barillo and Ronny G at that time. And I'm going to go over here to some pictures. Okay. And this is Gene Barillo with Ronny G. And just so you do know, this is Vinny Asaro and Jerry Asaro. Now, they were in charge at that time, but eventually they went to prison. Vinny went to prison. Jerry went to prison. So what happened? Ronny G became acting captain of that area, and his area was Howard Beach. And in the beginning, he decided that he was going to leave Christopher alone. Crazy Chris Cognata. But here's the problem: Chris, being who he was, and kidnapped, tied up, basically at his house, Nicholas Festa Pudgy. This guy is Pudgy. That's his nickname. So he ties him up. He robs him of $300,000. Pretty much goes in this guy's house. So at this point, he's on the street. He just robbed the Bonanno family. This guy Pudgy was the top earner to Ronny Giallanzo. So he has to do something. He can't just ignore it. And so at that point, Ronny G tells Gene Barillo to shoot him, send him a warning, shoot him in the arm. So in broad daylight, Gene went and shot him in the arm. But before Gene did the shooting, he basically said to Ronny G, he goes, I know Chris, you got to shoot this guy. You got to kill him. Let me shoot him in the head. Because if I don't put him down, he's going to come back at us. But Ronny G didn't think that was going to be the case. He thought a warning would be enough. Unfortunately, it pissed him off. What he did is he came back and machine gunned Gene Barillo's house. Gene Barillo's family was in the house at the time. And he continued his robbing and stealing and disrespect. He was basically, at that point, the Bonanno family, they were so nervous in that area that if they went to the barber shop, they would have someone look out outside. I mean, they really feared this guy. And it got to the point where, Ronny G decided to take him out, to kill him. He had no choice because here you got Crazy Chris coming back at them. And he's showing no fear whatsoever. So they have to make a move. And so this is where they had a guy they considered him, he was like their spider. And this guy that was in their group. And his name was Frankie Fox. That was his name, Frankie Fox. And Rand was his last name, but they called him Frankie Fox. So one day, Frankie Fox is driving down. Let me get back here to the story. I'll just pull it up. So basically, Frankie Fox was a spider of the crew. He reported that he was being followed by Crazy Chris, and he called Ronny G, who told him to lead him toward them down Cross Bay Boulevard. And Frankie Fox fucked up, and I can guess that's where one of the reasons they called him Fox. It wasn't Chris. So when the car came by, Ronny G gave Gene Barillo the order to shoot into the car. And the problem with once Gene shot in the car, the people in the car, it was a woman named Allison Brown. There was a Brad and a Joey there. And they came within inches of becoming innocent victims of bullets fired into the car by Barillo at the order of Ronny G. So when this happened, Ronny G was furious because it was all over the place. They got away, but Ronny G threw Fox a beating, a really good beating, for making such a mistake like that. They were almost killed innocent people. A matter of fact, the fact that those bullets were fired in the car and it missed all those people is quite incredible, but it hit next to their heads. I mean, these were kill shots to kill somebody. And by some miracle of God, they just missed. So what happened after that? The final attempt was made on August 2006 as Barillo and Bobby G, they were sitting on a location. Let me take that off of there. I know this. They were sitting on a location. They basically followed Chris Cognata to this address he was at, and he was there for a few days. But eventually he came out and he went to go to a truck. And at that time, Bobby G was ordered to do the hit, and Gene Barillo was with him. And there was one other guy with them too. And I don't want to name him because I don't know if he's still on the street. So when he came down into the car, what happened is Bobby G had just put applications in for the sanitation department and stuff. He really wanted to get out of the life. It was really bothering him. And he just wanted to walk away from his family and not be part of that life. So he was supposed to shoot. So when Chris got in the vehicle with his cousin, he was supposed to shoot, but he froze. So Gene put the gun out the window, fired a shitload of shots into the truck, hit the cousin. But they got away again. So here they are trying to get this guy, and they miss him again. But this time, the guy really got nervous because I mean this attempt was as close as you can get. They had people shooting out of the cars, so he's at that point he's starting to get a little bit spooked. Um, but so what happened afterwards? Bobby, when it was reported back that he froze up, basically got chased. It was probably the best thing that ever happened to him because he went on to have a productive life to this day, and he has nothing to do with that life. And from what I understand, he started a good life of his own. And the best thing that happened to him, like I said, was being chased. And what eventually happened over the next couple of years, these guys all got sent to prison, at, different prisons at the same time. Gene went to federal prison. So did uh, Cognata. And let me explain something to you about Cognata. When he was out in Rikers Island, he started a riot out there. And he was a very tough guy. In prison, he was known as one of the tougher guys in prison. It's not one of those guys you wanted to fight. He always had a very tough reputation. And this is why he was so feared. He just wasn't scared of anything. He was just one of those guys. But here's what happened. He gets out of prison, and this is a twist of fate. He got taken out eventually by a civilian who owed him money. So what happened is Crazy Chris goes running into this guy's house. This guy's hiding in the closet with a gun. And he comes flying out of the closet. He scared daylights. And his name was Joey Anatuccio. Yeah, Joey Anatuccio. And he shoots him. He kills him. So Chris, who is at war with the Bonannos, has no trouble surviving. Well, let me rephrase that. He survived because bullets missed him by inches, maybe. But it was kind of funny, though, because it was a civilian that took him down. And this is his, right here, as I showed you. This is his funeral card. And he was shot down in November of 2016. And to this day, he's still known on the streets of Howard Beach as Crazy Chris. He was a tough guy. There's a lot of stories to talk about with Howard Beach, no matter who it was. But toward the end there, these guys in the Bonannos were running wild. I mean, shooting everything up. I mean, it was out of control. And Ronny G, being the guy he was, Ronny G even admitted to himself that his men hated him because they would say that if you owed $1 to Ronny G, he would send Gene Barillo to break his legs or go get that dollar. Ronny G got a big house, and he built that house. And but the problem with the house is sent out smoke signals to the feds. You built a $3 million house in Howard Beach on a corner. It's gonna send out signals. So he started having a lot of trouble with his soldiers, including Gene. That's a whole different story. And we'll talk about, eventually I'll get to the story about Gene testifying against him or ratting him out. So let's not sugarcoat it. That's what he did. But there was a time there that they were friends. And Ronny G relied on him to go after Crazy Chris. And Gene would tell me, he would say Chris was a crazy guy. People were scared daylights of him. And because he just kept coming. And, and from what I understand, his whole family is like that. And I wanted to tell this story because these are the stories you don't hear about. Sometimes, I'll give you got your Paulie G's. Jimmy Calandra talks about him in Bath Avenue. He was fearless. This guy was fearless. These are your Paulie G's of the neighborhood. But usually they meet their fate eventually. And Christopher Cognata met his fate. He underestimated just a regular guy. And you just run into someone's house. They're hiding in the closet with a gun. doesn't matter. And that's the story of crazy Chris Cognata. And I wanted to give him that story for the simple fact that he's going to be one of those forgotten guys. You can't find him anywhere. But I've heard several stories about him. And I thought he deserved something. So if this video gives him something, people in Howard Beach are going to know who he is. And that's why I did this. And with that, we're going to end that story and we're going to move on to another thing. There's a podcaster. And I don't have to really tell you who to. I'll give you a hint. He has absolutely no product. His show is attacking people every night. His content is awful. And last night he spent the majority of his show attacking me, saying really horrible crap, which is all fine and good. I'm not going to mention his name because my show's rolling right now. I'm in the algorithm, but I'm going to make something perfectly clear to him and to a certain woman. You make accusations of people buying subs and buying views. No, that's not the case. It's called getting in the algorithm. Now, whether other people are buying views, I can't speak for them. Only they know whether they have. But if you're going to start attacking me, I'm going to give you a suggestion. Instead of attacking people, work on your own show. Find something to talk about that people want to listen to. Because you're not going to grow, and you haven't been growing. You have viciously attacked people on the regular basis, whether it's me, MRE, Tom LaVecchia. You just don't stop. Because it's easy to be a tough guy behind a mic, hiding away someplace. It's easy to be that way. And this is what you're doing. But this is just a suggestion. Why don't you watch what happened with me? As soon as I took things serious and went in a different direction, my show took off. So if you want to get back on track, my advice to you would be for you to do that. Do you think it's good to do what you're doing right now? Like every night, you got to talk about people. That's all you do. You do nothing else. You can keep doing that, but I can guarantee you one thing. You're not going to last. And that's a fact. One clown's already gone. And I witnessed in this show last night that Angel Gotti came into the show and someone started provoking her saying I was talking about her family. And I wasn't. I did a show yesterday. I talked about Sammy Gavano. And I talked about John Jr. in the show. Nothing was mentioned about the family. Those guys are public people. I have the right to talk about them. No one talked about her family. But instead of her, right away, she believes it, along with him. See, you have people in the chat rooms that like to provoke things. And there were several false things said last night that were just taken. No, it's not. No one's buying subs here. It's called doing good shows. So my advice to you is do a good show. You can keep attacking me, but all you're doing is putting me in the algorithm, dude. Don't you get it? You said my name like 100 times last night. Do you understand how the algorithm works? Because it's obvious that myself and Jeff Nadeau right now understand what algorithm is. You need to learn about the algorithm. Go study. Okay, you can call me fat, you can call me old, you can call me toothless, you can call me the fuck whatever you want. But I'm a 61-year-old man that lived my life. You're just a 42-year-old punk. With that, people, I like to say thank you for watching my show. And I hope that you liked the little story about Chris Cognata. And I tried my best to get all these Italian names correctly. I went over and over and over. If I missed any of them, I apologize. I hope you see the improvement. Thank you, everybody. Oh, please sub. I need subs. Legal subs, the right way. Not like the way people are accusing. And views are nice. And liking a video is nice. So just do whatever you want. Thank you very much. And I'll be seeing you probably. I'm sorry. Tomorrow night, I have a very interesting interview. And I will announce it tomorrow afternoon. And I will be doing my interview and dropping it tomorrow, probably about 7 or 8 o'clock. Thank you.